to install Hadoop environment. So for that, first we need to configure our SSH. SSH is like handshake, which we used for connections. Like it's like authentications where one system gets connected with the other one. So now we have to install SSH. So now I'm going to install SSH. So it's the syntax is almost it's going to be same. So just install SSH. It's like handshake. So we are going to install single node installation. So we are going to remove a handshake connection between them. So it's not going to reflect too much when we are going to see the single node installation, but if you are going for multi-node, then this SSH plays a very important role. So now you can see the SSH is successfully installed. So this SSH we have to sync it with our Java. So what I have to do is like I have to use RSYNC, which helps in synchronizing my SSH with Java. So now it is successfully installed. So you can see the reading state information is done, and is already the newest version because it comes with my Java. So I'm just checking whether I have a version installed in this. So now when we are going to install Hadoop, I'm going to set up such a way like I'm going to use a separate user to use Hadoop. So now I'm going to create a user called HD user, which is going to be covered under the group called Hadoop. So first I need to create the group. So syntax goes like sudo, that is like authentication for the HD users I have to provide. So add group followed by my group name is Hadoop. So I'm going to create a group called Hadoop. So that is done. So once that is done, I'm going to add an user to this group. So here I'm going to add a user who is going to be in the group called Hadoop, and that user name is going to be HD user. So it will ask you the password to that user. So I'm going to give that. It's same way like what name you are going to give. So I'm going to give the name as, actually it's going to be Hadoop, since it's going to deal with Hadoop environment. So I'm going to name that as Hadoop, and all these are not mandatory, but you can give like Hadoop R1. It's actually a user defined, so you can give anything, any information. So I'm going to skip all those things. So now my HD user is done. So after that we have to switch to the user called HD user. So type switch user SU followed by your username. So I'm going to switch to HD user. So it's going to prompt me the password. So now you can see here, especially here, my have switched from Parun to HD user. So now how to set, as I discussed earlier, like SSH, it's a handshake, it's a key to access our Hadoop environment. But since we are following single node installation, we have to remove that handshakes, or we have to make it as a secureless handshake, secureless authentication. So I'm going to do that now. So it is that has to be done in your HT user, because we are going to configure HT user for using Hadoop. So type SSH followed by keygen -t RSA -p, just give empty. So it will ask you, just give default thing. So now you can see your key print is created for the HT user. So now HT user alone has the privilege to access this SSH. So your SSH is successfully installed. So now I have to configure it. So just type cat home /.ssh. I'm going to configure the SSH. So id _ RSA .pub, and I'm going to put it in the default file. So it's going to be home /.ssh, and it's going to be authorized _ keys. So it's been added into our HT user directory. So just you give SSH from localhost, so it will first time it will ask you the permission to access it. So now so the SSH, the key thing. So now we are going to install Hadoop. So Hadoop actually it works on only IP version 4, but by default IP version 6 is enabled in our Ubuntu. So when we install Hadoop, by default it's get selected to the IP version 6, which we need to disable it. So we need to disable the IP version 6. For that I have to open a file called synct1.config file. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to open another terminal. So I'm going to type in fact I'm going to open that file. So I'm going to use gedit. So that file is present in etc followed by yctl.config conf. So since I have used so you can see, so all the IP versions are shown here. So the end I'm going to paste the code which is going to so now we are going to disable the IP version 6. So just first I'm going to add a command line to notify me that I'm going to disable IP version 6. So I'm going to write this command just for like my future node that have disabled my IP version 6. So followed by net dot IP version 6 dot conf config dot all IP version of 6 has to be disabled. So disable underscore its IP version 6 equal to 1. So the same way I'm going to disable the default features as well. So I'm going to copy this. So what I'm going to do is, like, instead of fall, I'm going to replace it with default. So even the default features of default features also I'm going to disable, and I'm going to disable the local host as well. So just save it. Okay, now my file is successfully saved, so I'm going to close it. So now this terminal is not needed, so I have successfully disabled my IP